diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Justin Harris, who's a defensive back out of Delaware Valley University. How's your day been, sir?
Good. How you doing, Jim?
Doing well, man. I mean, nice to actually get a chance to meet you. I mean, I know you were down in Georgia, kind of, I don't know, preparing for this upcoming season, and you finally got in town, ready for some football here shortly. So glad we're going to be playing football this fall, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell you so much that I've missed that for a lot of colleges. So. Justin, I do want to get a feel for a little bit of your history, if you don't mind. I mean, kind of give me the rundown about you. Tell me a little bit where you're from. Obviously, I see the P on your hat, so I mean, I'm assuming Philly. So tell me a little bit about where you're from and how you found your way to Delaware Valley.
Well, I'm from Philadelphia, originally born and raised. Born July 3rd, 1994. I went to Imhotep Charter High School, probably one of the more prestigious high schools now as far as football goes. And from Imhotep, I went to Central State University out in Ohio. It's a HBCU. From Central State, I went to LA Pierce, which is a very well-known junior college. I did my first year of actively playing football after high school at LA Pierce. I did pretty well. Then I made a transfer due to, like coaches and, everything that I didn't like as far as what LA Pierce had going on to LA Valley. It's probably like 20 minutes away from LA Pierce, but nonetheless, I transferred to LA Valley, and LA Valley is actually where, things started to skyrocket for me as far as football was concerned. Like recruiting and, schools wanting me to come and, continue my athletic as well as my student career. So, so after LA Valley, I had a couple schools on my line, but where I wanted to go was Texas A&M Commerce, who wound up, reaching out to me after the 2016-2017 season at LA Valley. So I'm on the phone with the coaches. He's telling me everything, that I want to hear as far as me getting out there, him wanting me to be out there and everything. So I had a couple more classes to finish to get my AA degree. And so when I came home the summer of 2017, I'm back in Philadelphia. Excuse me. I'm back in Philadelphia and trying to get my A degree done. By the time I actually am able to continue my classes, the coach that was recruiting me, he left. He went to a Division I school, and seeing as though I couldn't follow him, I was kind of discouraged about the whole situation. So I kind of, cut my ties with Texas A&M Commerce, and I'm just home now, working and working out, things of that nature. So this is like 2018, 2019. And, Coach Greco, he gives me a phone call, head coach over here at Delaware Valley. He gives me a phone call. He's asking me what I got going on, what I'm doing with my life. Do I still want to play football? So, of course I still want to play. So we go over everything, as far as like the financial aid is concerned, getting everything transferred over from the schools that I was at previously and, making sure that everything's on the up and up and I'm able to play going into 2019. So, we get everything situated, gets me on campus. We go through summer camp, season kicks off. I had probably one of my best football seasons of my life at Delaware Valley. And then, after that season, COVID hit and it slowed everything down. But we back at it now.
Right. I mean, obviously, eventually found your way to Delaware Valley. Ended up having a fantastic year in 2019. I mean, You were named first team all conference after snatching 5 interceptions. So definitely a great year for you. I mean, a pretty decent size for a defensive back. I mean, about 6 foot tall, somewhere between 195 and 200 pounds. So I think that that's solid. I mean, that means that you could probably be put in a lot of different roles there on the defense. So tell me exactly where we would see you there in the secondary. So talk to me about you as a defensive back.
So me as a defensive back, I would call myself like a hybrid, you know, along the lines of
What like
who
a
could I
what like a safety corner mix?
yeah,
Is that kind
like
of
a
what you're getting?
safety corner nickel almost. Because I'm great in run support. I can cover. Like I have the size of a safety, but I also have the feet of a corner to where as though I can cover the number one receiver or what have you. So, but I want to say that as my career progresses, we're talking the professional leagues, then I would see myself in that nickel position almost because, like I said, again, like I'm good in the run support. Like I'm very familiar in particular with zone coverages, but I appreciate man coverage. Like I could run man all day long. So therefore, I have the ability to cover that number one receiver. So I would see myself in like the nickel position, in the further career.
Yeah, I mean, as I was watching some of your highlights, which are found on Huddle, I was looking at you really, like you said, in like a couple of different roles. You know, whether or not you're playing safety or you're coming down. Like one of the things that I saw that I was really impressed with is your ability to play press. I mean,
Right.
you don't often see somebody really down, like up in someone's grill,
Yeah.
really challenging them like at the line of scrimmage. So I like that. I mean, I like that you have that ability to really just I don't know, take over the game, really kind of move the receiver into the route that you want him to run. I think that really sets you apart. Like you said, I mean, obviously, 2020, uh, this pandemic, dude, this
Yeah.
pandemic has really hit people in a very drastic way. So,
It did.
tell me about this past year for you, man. What have you been doing? How has this affected you, or maybe like just tell me how you've stayed motivated during this time.
Um. Well, for one, what motivates me is my son. I have a 6-year-old now. He actually just turned 6 on the 28th. Um, but he's my motivation. That's my only child. So, and with me having a son as my first child, I think like for every man, like that's his wish. You get what I'm saying? So, that's really my push. That has been my push since the day he was born. Um, and like he honestly keeps me going. Of course, my family keeps me going as well. The season before COVID had hit, that also kept me motivated and not take my mind off of what's to come in the future. So yeah, those are probably the top three whys and my motives as to why I keep going the way that I do as far as my training and taking care of myself and make sure that everything's on the up and up when it's time to put those pads back on.
So let's talk about your training just a little bit, man. Um, you got the sun glaring right behind you, so if you could just
Yeah, I
get
got you. I
there,
got you.
there you go, there you go. That
I
that's
got you.
that's fine. Talk to me about your training, man. So I mean, obviously, you got to train each and every week for your next opponent. So how does that work for you, man? What are you doing in like the film room or weight room? Kind of walk me through that if you don't mind, real quick.
So I guess we'll start off with the film room. I wasn't too much of a student to the film until I got to Delaware Valley, because I really got to see like, all right, this guy's doing this guy's doing that, and it was repetitive. Once I would catch a guy's tendencies, or a receiver's tendencies, or offense's tendencies, it made it made playing the defense easier. So I want to say, like, prior to Delaware Valley, like, I was just playing off of just pure football instinct, opposed to really sitting and depicting the film. But, you know, like nowadays, and especially that 2019 season, like really watching the film and studying my opponent, it made the game way easier. Like it almost slowed it down a couple notches to where as though, you know, like I almost knew this was coming or that was coming. Like this guy's about to run this post, he's about to run this comeback. You know, it just made everything easier. So, you know, as far as film goes, I'm just looking to see, you know, who's doing what, when they're doing it, you know, who's telling me that this is about to be a run, who's telling me that this is about to be a pass. You know, what is the receiver doing? What does the quarterback do? What is the receiver and the quarterback's energy before they come out to the line of scrimmage? You know, just little things. And then, like, you know, as far as lifting goes, like during the season, like me personally, you know, of course I participate in the team list, but I'm more so, I've just recently like been introduced to like speed lifting, to where as though like I'm moving the weight faster than, you know, than normally a team would, because, you know, they're just putting on meathead weights, you know, just for the powerlifting. I found that, you know, the lighter the weight, the more explosive you get. Of course, you get explosive from, you know, the 350 and 275s and all of that being on there. But I found, you know, the faster that you can move the weight, you know, the more explosive you are. So that's pretty much I'm pretty much lighter on the weights during game week. I'm lighter on the weight, so therefore I'm moving them faster. And, you know, I'm just, by the time, you know, Saturday, Friday night comes around, I'm just ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want to injure yourself. So, I mean, obviously you got to put the right weight on there.
Yeah.
Got to focus that way. You have a favorite lift there in the weight room that you kind of want to share? I mean, what's your go-to there? Is it the power clean or what?
I do appreciate the power clean, because it's like a full body workout, pretty
Right.
much. But I love the bench. I love the bench. I wasn't really a fan of the squat until I found out that I could really squat. But, you know, I love, like I said, the power clean, and I love benching. Like I could do power cleans and benching all day.
Nice, nice. Well, I mean, eventually somebody might sit you down and hopefully get a feel for some of those numbers. So I know some people really enjoy the like the 225, like how much you can do with that, and like your
Yeah,
40 and all that other stuff. So we'll find those things out eventually. So just give me a heads up whenever those things become official, so we can
sir.
let the world know how athletic Justin Harris is. So
Yes, sir.
I do want you to share maybe one of your most memorable moments, maybe a highlight of your career. So pick one of those to share with people.
Um, I want to say the Widener game. We had Widener at our home, and like the first half of the game, I honestly wasn't playing like myself. Like I was out of it pretty much. Like I gave up. I gave up a touchdown. It was a complicated catch for the receiver, but at the end of the day, like I gave that up. And I think like a catch before that to get them in that position to score. It just had my head. It had my head like in shambles. Like I didn't know what was going on. Almost like what is going on? And I'm just sitting thinking to myself while the offense is on the field, like, damn, bro, like I got to get it together. So, you know, we go into the half. We come out, and, you know, of course, you know, you get that half game, the halftime speech from the coach or whatever. You know, I really got to sit and think, because the offense was going on to the field, going into halftime or coming out of halftime. So, you know, I think we're in like the bottom of the third quarter, and we get into the fourth quarter, and I'm reading two. So they had quad set up. So I had one receiver out wide and one in the slot. So I'm reading two to one. So two is pushing towards me. We're in cover 3. Two is pushing towards me. And I see one, he's kind of like jogging off the line. So I'm like, all right, he's either going to sit or he might just be going in. But I see 2 pushing and he's climbing. So I'm like, all right, I'm reading. One is sitting, he's doing what he's doing, but 2 still running up the seam. So I'm slow playing it. Like I took my slow reads, and then I see the quarterback starting to get over to his progression. He's reaching to 2 on my side. So I'm like, oh yeah, he has to throw this ball because at this point he's about to get sacked if he doesn't throw it. And sure enough, he throws that seam route. And number 2, I pretty much put myself in front of 2. And when you look at the film, it's like you could almost call it PI, but and I'm assuming after I'm watching the play, like, yeah, why didn't the ref call it PI? Because like I make contact with the receiver before I touch the ball, but I pretty much jump in front of the receiver, jump the ball, and take it for like 60 yards right down our sideline. So as I'm getting to the sideline, my blockers are coming, and then Weiner is pretty much cutting me off. But I cut it back in, and then you could see in a camera, like the crowd just started going wild because they thinking I'm about to go out of bounds. So the crowd just starts going wild, and I take it to the end zone, and that was like a turning point of the game because I think we were down. We were down at that point, and that put us up, and it gave us the momentum. We right back on defense again. Gave them 3 points. Offense came back out and scored, and yeah, that was a great moment because again, like I said, like before the half, I was down on myself. We were down as a team, but I was down on myself because I'm giving up these plays, putting them in position to score and make plays, and then I come back out and I counter with another play to put us up on top, pretty much.
Well, cool. I mean, at the very least, what that shows is, you're paying attention to a lot of things out there. I mean, you're paying attention to the receivers and the quarterback, and obviously you got to make a break on the ball. I mean, you got to make that right decision, and boom, you were able to do that. And it's funny though, because I feel like a lot of guys, each and every time there's this huge play down the field, they're always looking back, checking if that yellow flag is down. So thankfully, you got that good play, without
Yeah.
that. So, great moments there to share. So, Justin, realize that you're an old cat. You're been around the block a little bit. So, if you had to give your younger self just a little bit of advice, go back in time, talk to maybe your 18-year-old self in high school. What sort of advice would you give him?
Um, I would pretty much tell him to, hold himself more accountable. Just pay more attention. Uh, I wouldn't say that, I didn't pay attention or I wasn't holding myself accountable. I just didn't hold myself accountable to where as though, things would come easy. It would come easier, I should say. Nothing comes easy, but, it wouldn't, the rule wouldn't have been as complicated as it was. But yeah, like if I could, sit my 18-year-old self down, and look at me in the eyes, I just tell him like, you gotta hold yourself accountable, and you gotta pay more attention in order to make your road easier. Because if not, then you're gonna run into those bumps, and those bumps will slow you down some. But it's all about if you want to keep going and allow those bumps to stop you.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, obviously, your maturity shows a little bit. So, I mean, I do think that that is one of the better attributes that you bring to the table. Um, I do want to get a feel for who you are, like outside of football. So let me know a little bit of something about you, either hobbies, interests, or whatever else you got going on. I mean, I know, like you said, you're a father of a 6-year-old, I think is what you said. So, but outside of that, like, tell me a little bit more about yourself, if you don't mind.
Uh, I guess hobbies. I love skating. Like skating is my thing. It was always my thing. Like when I was younger, I had stopped for a while, but I just like recently picked it back up. Like in 2020, like during the COVID or whatever. So like once things started to open back up, and once the skating rink opened back up, like that was our thing. Like we go to the skating rink, just vibe out and skate. But yeah, another hobby of mine that I like is I like dirt bikes and four wheelers and all of that stuff. And you know, being from Philadelphia, that's just a part of the culture here, I guess. You know, this the stuff you love to see. You love hearing the bikes go up and down the street. You love seeing it. Yeah, that's about it as far as the hobbies go. But yeah, I love skating. Like I could skate all day long. I can skate all day long.
It's interesting, man. I mean, so all these extreme sports sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Interesting also to see skateboarding in the Olympics, man. Like that's definitely a new thing. So
Yo, that's
uh,
crazy. That
th-
is
th-
crazy.
that's definitely something to I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think it's cool that guys like that can make you know just make great things out there for the Olympics for for
Yeah,
their country. So
that's
um,
that's definitely different.
that's awesome. If I were to come up in your neighborhood, man, tell me like maybe one place I got to go to. Like obviously, a lot of people want to know like where the best Philly cheesesteak is. So I mean, maybe just tell me that, or what's another spot up there that we would go to if I were to come visit?
Uh, as far as eats go, as far as eats, I would have to take you to Auntie's Biscuits. I have to take you to Auntie's Biscuits. They're like I want to say they're based off of soul food. So you know, like the fried chickens, the macaroni and cheese, the
Oh
yams,
yeah.
all of that. But yeah, like they have other platters as well. So like it's not just soul food, but like the other platters, like the salmon, stuffed salmon is good over there.
Mm.
And it's a good portion. It's a good portion of food too. So you might not be able to eat it all in one sitting, but I get the job done when it comes to food. But yeah, I'll take you to Auntie's Biscuits. And we talking about like the cheese steaks. Uh, cheese steaks. I want to say Pagano's. Pagano's is in my neighborhood. I want to say Pagano's, but Pagano's has fell off from when I was younger. They fell off like way off. So I don't know about Pagano's anymore. But
I,
I'll probably take you to like South Street. We go to Ishka Bibbles or something like that.
Nice, nice, love it. I remember going up to Philly. What was it? A few years back, and um, I had something from a street vendor that was downright horrible. So I mean, I'm never doing a street vendor ever again, man. Like
Nah.
that's like the worst thing I ever had, and it's like I just spent like $8 on some piece of crap. So I mean,
Oh man.
that ain't ever happen again. Um, all right, man. As we begin to wrap up, you already told me a little bit of your why. Obviously, being a dad and stuff. But I mean, I do want to
Yeah.
give you one last chance to tell people why you play this game, and to just give your last pitch to professional teams. So, why don't you go ahead and hit us with that?
Um. So why I play this game, minus the three whys that I stated earlier is because I built a love for the game. You know, some people play the game and from the door like they love it, but I've come to build a love for this game. And you know, of course, we all like them paychecks and all of that. Of course, like that's a plus. But being able to actually wake up every day and your job is to slap some cleats on and play football, and especially like playing D-back, like, yeah, I don't think it's anything better than that. Because in my opinion, of course, like that's like the hardest position on the field. Like, and you really have to be crafty with it, and it's always room for improvement. Like, you can always get better at the position. Like, I think like your athletic ability is only going to take you but so far, but you have to be like technically sound in order to play that position. And it's really an art. Like, I really feel as though like it's an art. Like, if Picasso didn't draw the Picasso, then yeah, I feel as though like he would have drew like a DB, because that's really an art. But yeah, like other than that, like my love for the game, um, I just love football. Honestly, I don't think there's any other sport that I should have been playing. I've tried other sports, but I don't think there's any other sport I should have been playing. I think like I was made for football.
Gotcha. And very lastly, man, your pitch, real quick. Give me like your 30-second pitch to like all those professional teams as to why they need to know who Justin Harris is and give him his opportunity at the next level. Go for it.
And you getting a baller at the end of the day. When it's all said and done, you getting somebody that can literally take away one side of the field. DBs nowadays, like they type scared to, stick their nose in the run game. Like I'm all for it. I'm all for all the physical activities. Like you get what I'm saying. I'm attentive. I'm a learner, and I'm coachable. I think that's another thing as far as like professionals go. Like once they reach that professional level, they feel as though like there's no more coaching that they could receive because they made it. But like I said, there's always room for improvement, and there's always somebody that knows something more than you. So again, like that's another aspect of the game that I appreciate myself on, being able to be coachable still, even at the age that I'm at now, because that just goes to show that I'm a sponge. I'm a sponge to the game. I'm a sponge to whoever is coaching me. I'm a sponge to whatever knowledge that he's willing to drop on me. I'm going to say he or she, because at this point, there are female coaches in the league now, and that's another step. But I'm just a sponge to the game, sir. And I'm a worker. I'm a workaholic, and I want to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of pros that I think that you're bringing to the table as a prospect. I mean, one, size; two, versatility; three, physicality; and four, maturity. So, I mean, what you're really getting is all of those things kind of wrapped up in a nice package there. So, again, like I said, I mean, I do feel like you do have a lot of things going for you. It's just all about getting your face out there, getting your name out
Right.
there, so that people get a chance to know you. And hopefully,
Right.
we've done that with this interview. So, Justin, I do wish you best of luck this upcoming season,
Yes,
and
sir.
thereafter, man. So, thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jimmy.
Sure. Again, this is Justin Harris. He's a defensive back, Delaware Valley. Just got to keep an eye on him this season. Thanks.